Okay, so my initial value is 4 because that is my 0 term. Okay, and how do I find B? How do I find my big slope, my multiplier? Find how much I'm growing by. So it's times 3, what else? Times 3, which is what? Can you use a calculator? Yes. 36 times 3 is 108. Times another 3 is 324. Okay. So then what is my B value? What's my multiplier? 3. And is this growth or is it decay? How do you know it's growth? Because I'm multiplying, it's getting bigger. Okay, but what happens if I multiply by 1/2? Isn't that multiplying? No, but it's technically dividing. It's less than 1, so it's getting smaller. Okay, good. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Now, do we want to write our graph first or do our equation first?
No, equation.
Okay, we'll just write the equation real quick. I have y equals what? What's my equation?
Y equals 4.
A, which is what?
4.
Good. Then what? 3 to the perfect. Okay, we're almost done. Let's graph it. Do I have all the points?
Yes.
Yep, I just got to plot them. 112. And then is 36 on my graph? No, so I'm going to put it up here and say that's 36. And then I am going to graph these. On the test, the graphs should all be scaled well enough that you can fit everything. Okay, does that look like my growth? It's kind of ugly because it's hard to write on here, but does that look pretty much like our growth function from yesterday? Okay. And finally, we have a situation or our context we have to write in words. Now, does anything on here give me a description of what I might write about? I can use initially, yeah, I'm writing about growth, but about what specifically? Rabbits. And what is the time period I'm looking at? Yes. Months. So initially, what do I have? They do grow by 3, but initially, how many do I have?
4.
Initially, there were 4 rabbits. Not there was. No. Initially, there were 4 rabbits. And then Nathaniel said they grew by 3. Growing by 3 means I just add 3 each time. They're multiplying by 3, so the growth rate is 3. How can we say that we are multiplying by 3? What's the one succinct word we can use? Triple. Good. Okay, so how frequently does the rabbit population triple? Every month. So every month, or each month, every month, the population triples. What'd you say, Diego? That's not good. I'm going to go talk to your English teacher and tell them that you don't know how to write. I don't know how to write. Is that what you just said? Oh, you do know how to write. We're going to work on the second one now. Okay, I want you to turn to your neighbor and you're going to whisper to them, is this a model of growth or decay? Whisper to your neighbor. Whisper. Okay. Did we determine, is this model growth or decay? Decay. And how do we know it's decay? Yeah, it's not getting larger. It's kind of going down. It's becoming smaller. There's becoming less as as x's go by. So, let's make a table first. And does this table, do you think it's going to start with the 0 term?
No.
No. Why not?
And it starts off.
Wait, no, yes, it is.
Is my first x value 0 on the graph? No. It's -1. Okay, so I need to include that so I can get some information. Will I use that in my equation?
Maybe.
No, I'm still just going to use the 0 term. But since it's given to me, I want to use that information to help me find the rest of what I need. So at -1, I have 120. At 0, how much do I have? 40. And then do I have 1 graphed on there? No. Okay. So do I know my A value right now? Do I know my 0 term? The 0 term, not the first one on the graph. It is 40. Okay. The 0 term will always be the point that's on the y-axis. Okay. Okay. Now, I am going to use 120 though, Nathaniel, because I need to find B. So how do I get from 120 to 40?
33.
Divide by 3, which means times 1/3. So 40 times 1/3 is like 13 1/3 or something. But I'm going to write 40 over 3 because that means the same thing. So then what is B? What is my multiplier? 1/3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. My equation is y equals what?
Y equals 40.
40.
Parentheses 3.
Okay, good. And now we need to write this as a situation or context. Yes, Diego?
So you divide, you just do it on top.
Yes. Okay, now, what do we want to talk about? We can't use initially because we're going to use our 0 term. You know? But what do we want to write about? On our last one, we talked about rabbits.
Ducks.
You want to write about ducks?
Hamsters.
Yeah, we talked about Diego's
Diego's
ability-
catching in football.
his ability to
Okay, what do we want to write about?
Diego.
Okay, let me ask Diego. Can we write about you?
Sure, I guess I'll allow it.
Okay. So we're going to say initially, or originally, or once upon a time. Okay. Once upon a time. You can write initially or originally or something like that. Once upon a time. As long as everything is correct and it's in context. Okay, once upon a time, Diego, what happened? What was he doing? Was he making baskets or what were you saying? Oh, at football practice. Okay, so what did he do at football practice? Okay, so maybe once upon a time, Diego made 40 catches. At football practice. Because initially, that's how much he made, right? But what's happening as time goes on? He gets worse. Okay, now, for decay, we need to be careful. I don't want to write anything about the multiplier yet. I'm going to write something up on the board, and I want you to see that, okay? So I'm going to put this here. Don't drop the hamster on it. Okay, so these lines right here, I'm going to draw one. Please focus. Because I'm multiplying by 1/3 each time. I'll wait. I can hear you when I'm not looking at you. I don't know how many times I have to say that.
Brian.
Okay, on the board, I just drew 12 lines. Do you agree these are 12 lines? We're going to pretend that we are back in elementary school, and those are our counting blocks, and each one of them has 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how many blocks do I have right here? I have 10 by 10 by 12, so I have 120, right? Because that's my -1 term up here. Okay. So then I divided by 3. So how many do I have left over?
40.
I have 40 left over.
Or at least 43.
Okay. So I have 1/3 of them left. Does that make sense? My multiplier is 1/3, but I'm not decreasing by 1/3. How much did I decrease by? If this is 1/3, how much more do I have over here to get to a whole? 2/3, okay? So here is another 1/3 that I lost, and another 1/3 that I lost for a total of 2/3, okay? So when you're working with decay, you are always going to subtract from 1. So 1, which is the whole, 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3. Does that make sense? So the way we would write that in our situational context, did you write on it? The way we would write that in context is we might say something like, so once upon a time, Diego made 40 catches at football practice. Now, what is our timing? How frequently is this happening? Every day, every month, every week?
Every hour.
Okay, every hour. He catches, or he makes 2/3 less catches. Does that make sense? Because 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3. Does that make sense? So he's missing 2/3 of the catches, and he's only making 1/3 of them. Do you understand that? Okay. So what you can say is 1 minus your decay fraction. If my multiplier was 1/4, what number would we use in our situational context? 3/4. Okay. If my multiplier was 1/2, what would I use in my situational context? 1/2. So 1/2 is easy. You get a half and you lose a half. Okay. I'm more worried about like the 1/3 and the 1/4 because I remember I put this on because I taught honors last year. I put this on the test last year, and they kept making that mistake. They kept putting 1/3 in their situation, and it should have been 2/3. Okay. Does that make sense? Do you understand this? Can you flip to the back side and try the first row? Try number 3, the third one. Okay, try this one. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. That's all you have, so you better write fast. I know you write slow, and you're like, no, wait. Do number 3. You have 2 minutes. Let's go. Okay, it's been 2 minutes, so I told you to hurry. Okay, what was my A value?
6.
What's my B?
1/2.
And was this growth or decay?
Decay.
Good, okay. So here's my graph. Okay, I do want you guys to, you eventually need to come up with your own situation.
It's something about trees, but I might have wrote it wrong.
That's good. That's fine. That's perfect. Okay. Now, how come I use decrease by half, even though the fraction is a half? Why?
Because it's a half.
Yeah, because 1 minus a half is still a half. Okay. So we have one more. I'm not going to do the last one. It's okay. I do want you to leave this. I think I'm going to have you do this as your warm-up tomorrow at the beginning of classes. Finish this worksheet. But your homework tonight is 229 through 242. Please make sure that you do it.